Evening and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from Green Dragon CVR in Woodbridge to talk about video games. How are you, pal?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm not doing too bad. I'm pretty excited about all of the games that were shown over the past few days at the Summer Game Fest and the associated events.
Yeah, it's been a huge, massive, wild, onslaught of game announcements and release dates, reveals, new world premieres. It's been almost overwhelming.
It's been a lot of stuff. And, after E3 went extinct a couple years ago, seemed like there was going to be a hole in the summer that very few things could replace. But Jeff stepped up and did the job, it seemed like.
Yeah, good on Jeff for keeping these things alive and keeping us... keeping it going, these events,
giving us
the Game Awards,
something to look forward to, be excited about.
Yeah,
in terms of game showcases and stuff. He gets a lot of hate online, but I like that guy.
I like Jeff. Yeah, he's a good Canadian brother there.
Yeah, man. At the end of the day, there was a lot of stuff shown, and there's no way we could ever recount all of it in a single video. But
way too much.
We've assembled a list of our favorite games that were shown at Summer Game Fest at the Associated State of Play, the Xbox event, and we're excited to share these titles with you. The first one that we're going to discuss is from the PlayStation Showcase a few days before the weekend, and that is Pragmata. I believe it was announced a while ago, but now it's got a confirmed release year, in any case, in 2026. From Capcom's official description, lose yourself in a brand new sci-fi action-adventure game set on the moon in a near-future world. Play as an astronaut Hugh and android Diana, weaving through a profound story with a unique hacking twist that takes advantage of next-gen visuals. Pragmata will present players with profound story and settings as cutting-edge visuals take full advantage of next-generation platform features. To me, this looked like an interesting mashup of, Lost Planet-style gameplay and aesthetics from Death Stranding and other...
Yeah, it definitely looks ambitious, and it looks very, sci-fi, futuristic, stuff like that. The setting looks cool. It looks fresh, I would say.
New take on the game length escort quest, perhaps.
Yeah. That's right.
Great character design and great art, so I'm looking forward to trying this out.
Maybe it's like Resident Evil 4 in space.
May well be. Capcom's been on a roll in the past... for the past long while.
Good resurgence, and they've been able to kind of keep up with their their consistency in releasing.
Pretty much since 2017, I think, right? When Resident Evil 2016 or 17, when Resident Evil 7 came out.
Yeah.
Almost everything they've released since then I've enjoyed, actually. The Monster Hunters, the various Resident Evil remakes, Resident Evil 7 and
Dragon's
8.
Dogma got into a bit.
Dragon's Dogma wasn't bad either. That's right. I had my complaints about the second one, but overall it was a pretty cool project.
Overall not bad,
Yeah. So looking forward to this in 2026.
Oh yeah.
The next one is Silent Hill F from Neobards Entertainment, and I think they've worked on Resident Evil Resistance in the past. The official description is as follows. In 1960s Japan, Shimizu Hinako's secluded town is consumed by a sudden fog, transforming her home into a haunting nightmare. As the town falls silent and the fog thickens, Hinako must navigate the twisted paths of her town, solving complex puzzles and confronting grotesque monsters to survive. Immerse yourself in Hinako's world, imagined by renowned author Ryukishi 07, with entrancing music, including pieces by Akira Yamaoka, and beautiful visuals in a gripping tale of doubt, regret, and inescapable choices. Will Hinako embrace the beauty hidden within terror or succumb to madness that lies ahead? Discover a new chapter in the Silent Hill series, blending psychological horror with a haunting Japanese setting. So, this is exciting for obvious reasons. I know it's a different development team than the original Silent Hill games, but it's cool that it's set in Japan and it has some competent people on board with the project. So I'm confident that it'll be something worth checking out at the very least.
Yeah, hopefully. I guess I would say I'm not particularly stoked, but it's a new Silent Hill game, so
yeah.
Definitely see how it turns out.
Yeah, there's a lot to work with, in that, I guess it's almost like a flavor of horror, the same way Resident Evil is.
Yeah.
With certain kinds of tropes and new authors working in it. It could go either way. Obviously, we can't really tell the future, but like I said, I'm excited to see what they do with it.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope it's cool. And it does look so from the trailer. Yeah. The next game is a sequel to one we really enjoyed a few years back, and this is Bloodstained: The Scarlet Engagement by Artplay, published by 505 Games. It's also coming in 2026. I think Koji Igarashi is involved with this one too. The guy's been behind all of the Castlevania games since the inception of the series, all of the good ones in any case, and even the other 2D Bloodstained pixel art
That's right. Yes.
sequel and prequel that came out.
Prequels, yeah.
The official description: join two new heroes, Leonardo and Alex, as they rise against Elias's reign of terror over a cursed floating ethereal castle. This 2.5D Gothic action RPG features strategic battles, crafting, cooking side quests, and the franchise's largest explorable area yet. The story unfolds as a mysterious ethereal castle under the control of the demon lord Elias casts a shadow over the land, terrorizing citizens with its demonic forces. Time and again, the kingdom and the church have deployed strike forces, each effort ending in failure. As another opportunity arises, two heroes are brought back by fate. Leonard Brandon, a young fighter with the church's Black Wolves clan, and Alexander Keiteler, a knight of the kingdom's White Stags and lone survivor of an initial unsuccessful expedition.
Hell yeah.
Sounds like an interesting premise for another game in this format. I mean,
yeah, this one actually, the first one caught me by surprise. I really enjoyed it, and I don't.
Me too.
I'm not typically like too crazy about like 2D side-scrolling type games, especially like long ones.
Yeah,
like
I feel
RPG,
you.
Whatever. Anyway,
it was maybe 20 hours long, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
that
we
game.
both finished it. And we both really
thought
enjoyed
pretty
it,
highly of it. The art was awesome, and one thing that was great was the traversal mechanics. I don't know if you remember. By the end of the game, you could like fly around.
Yeah,
and
by
stuff
the
like
end
that.
of it, you're like jumping and flying.
Yeah, it was excellent.
Like you're just like glazing across the whole map.
That was really cool. That was really
incredible.
cool.
Yeah.
It had great art. I love that like Japanese take on Western fantasy and Gothic horror and stuff.
Yeah,
so.
it's a little over the top. It looks cool.
It is.
Really,
it's going to
really
be fantastic. I'm pretty sure, especially based on the fact that the same guys are coming back to work on it. So this is one to look forward to in 2026.
Definitely.
The next one was a bit of a surprise. I don't remember hearing any buzz about it on the internet.
I don't know. I think it was just rumored like a day or two before.
Yeah. But this is Final Fantasy Tactics: The Evil East Chronicle. Obviously coming from Square Enix, it's September 30th, 2025.
Nice.
With improved graphics, the official description states, fully voiced dialogue, refined gameplay, and multiple quality of life improvements, the enhanced version provides the perfect way to immerse yourself in Evil East, with included classic mode for nostalgic players.
That's the best part about it.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool thing. Yeah. I know that
just in case.
Some people I've noticed online were a bit apprehensive about the fact that they've mentioned they're going to make some adjustments to the story.
Yeah.
And I think that there's good reason to be apprehensive about that. Yeah. But the cool thing about this version of the game is they're going to include a classic mode, presumably with all that stuff left intact from the original release. Yeah. So if you don't want
hopefully
Yasumi Matsuno's famous story to be butchered by contemporary localizers or whoever else is involved, then you do have the option to play the classic mode. And I think like that alone is worth the price of entry for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Otherwise, what options do you have to play this nowadays other than emulation, right?
Yeah, on the PlayStation 1.
So this is pretty cool that we're getting this. And again, it's September 30th, 2025. Looking forward to that.
Yeah, very nice.
Nice companion to the Tactics Ogre game that they put out on PS5 the other year too. And now we're moving on to Summer Game Fest proper. And something that really struck me as incredible was the fact that this was announced. You know, this has been a few years coming too. I believe the first one was 2019. We got a trailer for Mortal Shell 2 from Cold Symmetry.
Yes.
Coming out in 2026. The official description is as follows. Mortal Shell 2 is a standalone sequel action RPG with adrenaline-charged high-stakes combat. Possess warrior shells, dethrone false gods, and redeem a ravaged world. The dormant forms of forgotten warriors are scattered through Mortal Shell 2's shattered world. Once discovered, each shell can be awakened and possessed, unlocking their innate strengths and unique abilities. Evolve your own combat style by harnessing the diverse, unique abilities of each shell and unravel their secrets through the discovery of lost memories. Story-wise, you play as the Harbinger, a being prophesied to reclaim the blessed Undermeather's stolen ova from the daunting creatures that ruthlessly guard her unborn.
Sounds bloodborne as hell, dude.
Yeah, sounds pretty messed up. Mortal Shell 2's combat system is agile yet grounded. Unrestricted by stamina, players exploit multiple tactics to shatter enemy posture and strike critically. So
that's cool.
Yeah, we were talking just before this about how it looks like a totally blown open take on the original game, eh?
Yeah, watching the trailer reminds me nothing of Mortal Shell 1. Honestly, it just looks like they've expanded on every possible conceivable way.
Yeah.
And like that's cool. I'm definitely down. I mean, part of the reason I liked the first one was because it was
compact nature.
Yeah, and like the bite size, you know, Souls but bite-sized nature. But anyway, this one they seem to be.
Yeah, I read on the Steam page there they're gonna have 60 dungeons connected and what they've called a modest open world map.
Regardless, I think it's important that they made they were one of the first-ish Souls-like games, and now
early pioneers into the genre.
yeah, and
that's
it's
for
been
sure.
successful enough that they can keep going.
Coming back around. That's right.
much like some of the other games we're talking about today too.
Yeah, it was really cool that they succeeded, and I'm glad they're back for a second shot at this.
Yeah,
I really like the world building and the story in that one too. They really nailed that Souls-like storytelling, and the lore and stuff was on point. So, looking forward to this in 2026.
Definitely.
And next we have Code Vein 2, another one from that same year. That year we called it the Summer of Souls, I believe.
Yeah, that's
we were
right,
playing a whole bunch of Souls-like games, and Bandai
Sekiro.
Namco's people were, I'm pretty sure the reception of the first Code Vein was pretty warm. There was a lot of good stuff about it. It had its own unique twist on the genre. We had this like always co-op kind of thing going on, or always NPC helper going on, right?
Yeah, it had like a buddy system. You're always going with somebody.
Yeah. And turning it off made the game much harder. But Code Vein 2 is coming in 2026. And the official description is as follows. In a future world where humans and revenants coexist, due to the sudden appearance of Luna Rapacious, revenants have transformed into mindless monsters called horrors. As a revenant hunter, the players shall halt the world's inevitable collapse by traveling to the past with a girl called Blue, who possesses the power to manipulate time. An epic adventure awaits where you and your chosen partners explore a vast world, face fierce battles against powerful enemies, and uncover an epic story that transcends time.
Interesting.
So, I mean, we could tell from the trailer that they had the, your buddy is back with you fighting in this game. It's not like a typical Souls game where you're at it alone unless you summon other people to help you out.
It seems to be the same as one.
Yeah, in that respect
regard,
it was. Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, and I figured that was Code Vein's unique stamp on the genre. So I'm happy they're coming back at it for a second go as well. But
definitely.
The art style does look a little bit changed, don't you think?
A little
compared
bit.
To the first game. The models are done a little bit differently, and the color palette is certainly different, at least from what they showed.
It looks like they expanded on it a bit.
When I think of the last one, I think of sunsets and like washed out reds and browns. This is like nighttime and blues and dark colors. So aside from that minor aesthetic difference, I'm confident that this will be a decent game, and I'm looking forward to it also. Another one I was surprised and excited to see at the Summer Game Fest was Atomic Heart 2 from developer Mundfish, and we were pretty excited leading up to the release of the first one, and I'd say it didn't disappoint. It was an interesting game.
Yeah, definitely. Very ambitious.
Yeah, Bioshock-like, if you will, one of those story-oriented first-person shooter games with some exploration and some melee combat and other interesting elements. The closest thing since then has probably been Atomfall. That came out earlier this year, but I haven't had a chance to try it myself yet.
Not either. No.
Hope to get back into that. Maybe Dying Light 2 is kind of like that as well. The Dying Light
in some ways,
From the official description, Atomic Heart 2 is an action-adventure role-playing game set in a living world, rich with possibilities and a heavy emphasis on story, role-playing elements, and player freedom. Dystopia and retrofuturism with realistic graphics. An expanded RPG system allows you to immerse yourself in the living game world full of various activities. A continuation of the story with an enthralling plot brimming with mysteries and high stakes. Our beloved characters return while new ones help reveal a different side of the game world. This is coming also in 2026, like most of the games on this list, and I'm looking forward to it as well. I did like the first.
Yeah.
The next game really stuck out to me.
Me too.
This trailer was visceral and horrifying, even more than some of the more famous and well-known franchises on the list.
Of the 3 horror games on this list, this one really stood out to me.
And this is Ill from Team Cloud Inc. as the developer, and it's published by Mundfish, the people behind Atomic Heart, so that's interesting. The official description is as follows. Ill is a realistic first-person action survival horror game that challenges even the most seasoned fans of the genre. The game plunges you into a grim world with an eerie atmospheric story where every minute keeps you on the edge of your seat. The game developers are horror experts and have experienced working with well-known directors. Their work can be seen in various movies and series like Longlegs, Until Dawn, VHS Beyond, It, Welcome to Derry, Azrael, and more. Now the team is aiming to fulfill their dream and create a game that will claw its way into your consciousness and expose your true fears layer by layer. The game immerses you in its tense narrative that unfolds at a huge research fort. A mysterious source of evil and the horrific aberrations it generates stands in the way of the main character saving what's most precious. Ill makes you feel every second of your struggle for survival. And to me, the body horror and dismemberment mechanics really stood out. The game has like a lot of like fleshy and like contorted monstrosities.
Yeah, lots of
like,
gore and
yeah.
even like a lot of suffocating moments. Like it looked like the screen was filling up with bodies and like
Yeah.
you're just like getting
Yeah.
pushed into a corner. You're like,
Pretty
"Oh,
gross.
God."
Pretty
Yeah.
gross.
It's really, that's wild.
Yeah. Body horror and dismemberment.
Oh yeah,
Stuff
yeah.
like
a
lots
lot of that
slimy pale skin. Like
that Dead
yeah.
Space stuff where you're blowing
Yeah.
limbs off.
Yeah.
Freaking arm flies off and the blood everywhere.
Mechanically, it looked a lot
Yeah.
like the first-person Resident Evil game. So
Yes, yeah, you're
That's
right.
probably an
actually.
inspiration.
Yeah.
really stoked to try this one
Yeah,
out.
this one looks nuts. Looks really cool.
Apparently, the release date is to be determined, but I'm definitely going to check this one out when it
yeah.
launches.
For sure.
Speaking of Resident Evil, the next one was Resident Evil 9 Requiem.
Yep.
Pretty big game, pretty big
Big news
announcement.
there, yeah.
Another one from Capcom as well. So
Yeah.
they had
yeah.
a busy week.
Yeah, this is their, main title, in-house, Resident Evil
Yeah.
continuation. So
For this, we do have a solid release date, and that's February 27th, 2026. So it must be
Nice.
pretty far
Yeah, it must
along
be
if they're
good,
willing
yeah.
to confirm,
yeah,
within a year, the launch date.
yeah, definitely.
Official description. The 9th title in the mainline Resident Evil series. Prepare to escape death in a heart-stopping experience that will chill you to your core. Featuring new protagonists investigating a devastated Raccoon City, blending intense atmospheric horror, challenging combat, and gripping narrative. I remember in one of the previous Resident Evil games, Raccoon City was bombed, and it looks like you return to the
Yes, yeah, it's cool that they're kind of
Yeah.
going back into that.
to the destroyed husk
Yeah.
of Raccoon City.
Yeah, I think they showed off the police station or one of
did,
the
yeah.
locations, and it was just totally bombed out.
from what we can gather from the trailer, the protagonist is a girl who's beset by some kind of serial killer or something, and she works at the FBI. But
Yeah.
otherwise, story details are scant at this point.
Yeah, don't know if it's gonna be first or third person.
Yeah,
Who knows what it's
yeah.
gonna be like.
Nonetheless, I really enjoyed, like I said earlier, all of the Resident Evil games since 7. So I'm looking forward to this as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Next, we have Blood of the Dawnwalker from Rebel Wolves, a bunch of guys who worked on The Witcher 3.
Yes.
A bunch of CD Projekt Red's other games. I think even Cyberpunk. Like
Possibly, yeah. Yeah, they all left and created
a new studio.
Yeah,
We can assume there was some stuff going on at CD
for
Projekt.
sure.
Yeah.
for sure.
But in any case, this is one that was I believe we've heard something about it before.
We knew about it. I think
Yeah.
we've even seen a trailer, but they showed off, I
Yeah.
guess, their newest trailer,
Yeah,
and it looked fantastic.
it did.
Honestly.
Yeah,
Showed off what looked like some gameplay.
yeah.
Some of the combat
Reminiscent of
going
The Witcher
on. Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, set in the same sort of like European fantasy
Yeah.
environment. The official description: 14th century Europe. Bloody conflicts sweep the land and the Black Death comes for the survivors. It's a moment of weakness, and that's all they need. Vampires seize their opportunity to walk out of the shadows and claim what they've been denied for centuries: freedom and the power that comes with it. Other creatures of the night follow their lead. Legends turn into reality, and history as we know it will never be the same. You play as Cohen, a young man turned into a Dawnwalker, forever treading the line between the world of the day and the realm of the night. Fight for your humanity and embrace the cursed powers to save your family. Whatever your choice, the question stands: is your soul worth the lives of those you love?
Interesting.
Yeah, interesting for sure.
Sounds like they'll have maybe some different endings or plot choices that you can.
If there are other games
know.
or anything to go by,
Yeah,
that's
true,
definitely
actually, yeah.
going to be involved. The combat even looked a little bit like The Witcher, but
Yeah, it did.
just like we've expressed in the past, the best indicator of whether or not something is worth paying attention to is the people who've worked on it and their old games. And based on that, this is one to follow for sure.
For sure.
Also coming in 2026, like most of the games here.
Yeah.
And the last game we have for you today was the one that took me the most by surprise. I don't know about you.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, yeah, for sure.
When I saw that logo flash across the screen, I was like, what the?
Good
What's
old
going on?
Game Freak.
Very strange, yeah. But we have Beast of Reincarnation from Game Freak, which looks like a AAA game from
Yes,
Game Freak.
with,
That's not a Pokemon game.
Modern visuals.
Yeah.
No anime art style. We're talking, almost cutting edge.
Yeah, cutting edge
leading
technology.
graphics. Like, yeah.
Strange stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they made games for anything other than Nintendo consoles, to be honest with you, until this. If you had asked me, I would have said no,
I
right?
think they've only released one or two other games.
Really?
One I know about, Little Town Hero, and there was another one I don't fully remember. But in any case, they are essentially have been hamstrung to making Pokemon games forever and ever. And
Yeah.
it seems like through whatever circumstances that I would love to know about, they've
Yeah.
been let off their leash, and this game is coming out on Xbox, PlayStation, PC, everything. So
going to be interesting, man.
Don't know.
I don't know what it's
how
going to
this
involve
happened,
beyond the
but-
description we're about to read to you, but I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to trying this as well.
Oh yeah.
In a post-apocalyptic Japan, a land ruined by corruption and crawling with monstrous beasts, humanity's last hope may rest with Emma, an outcast cursed as a blighted one, and Ku, her loyal canine companion. Survive a journey across an ominous, ever-changing world where dangerous forests can erupt in the wasteland. As Emma and Ku push deeper into the unknown, their bond strengthens, and with it, strange powers bloom. Explore what it means to be human in Beast of Reincarnation, an expansive one-person, one-dog action RPG built around demanding technical combat. What awaits at Journey's End? Wow. Strange stuff.
I'm
buddy.
even more into it now.
Yeah, what does that mean, man? Very excited to see what comes of this, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
One of the bigger announcements for sure. I think
Definitely
just,
one of the
just,
bigger
just,
ones.
you know, shock value and
Yeah. Because of who's making it, right?
unpredictability. This is why we watch these things.
That's right,
You're
yeah.
like, oh.
Yeah. But those
stuff.
are our top games from the week of Summer Game Fest, from the State of Play, from the Summer Game Fest proper, and from the Xbox Showcase. I don't
yeah.
think any of these were actually from Future Game Show, but there was a couple of neat ones there we didn't have time to talk about. I urge you to go back and watch all of these, though. There was definitely a bunch of interesting releases in them all. So I don't know what to say, man. I'm excited for the future. We've mentioned that before after shows like this, but there's always so much cool stuff being made.
Yeah, just like I didn't expect there to be this much focus on what seems to be AAA single player, double
Yeah.
A single player, single
Yeah.
like there was not too much of like multiplayer slop.
There was
like,
a few,
garbage.
for sure,
Yeah,
but-
for sure it's there,
But the
it just-
keystones were these.
It seems
you know?
like the industry is almost regressing back to a better time.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like it's crazy to say, but it seems like this is almost what's happening. out there.
Yeah. Remember when they told us single player games were dead?
That'll never get old hearing that
Never.
one, eh?
Suit dummies.
Here we are at 2025 and
All the big
what
games are not that.
dominated, literally single player, you know, story, narrative, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
those types of things. And not even like the Uncharted games that are like movie games,
No.
you know, like not even
No,
that. Like
definitely not that.
it's like we're funneling into really good things coming through,
Yeah,
you know? It's
For sure.
It's exciting. You have to be excited if you
Yeah.
like this stuff,
The
right?
kind of trends that people are following are the ones that I think should be followed.
Yeah,
in any case.
agreed.
They're
Yeah.
iterating upon formulas that have been demonstrated to be good for world
Yeah.
building and storytelling and by other developers.
Yeah, and whether or not they're using existing brands like Resident Evil or something new like Ill or whatever, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
as long as they do it right and properly, then I think we have nothing to worry
Yeah,
about.
lots to look forward to.
Yeah.
In any case, thank you guys for tuning in. I hope you
Yeah.
enjoy these games when we launch, and we'll be back to
Check
talk
them
about them
out.
at the nearest opportunity.
Yeah.